The streets of Chicago whispered his name like a warning. Lil Jeff. He wasn't just another rapper spitting bars. He was a predator in the drill scene, a shooter who backed up every word with action, from chasing ops into their own homes to claiming more than 8 bodies. Bloodhound Jeff didn't just talk the talk, he walked it with a Glock in hand, leaving even the bravest of rappers scared. Lil Jeff was responsible for dropping 11 bodies. Lil Jeff, or Bloodhound Lil Jeff, as some knew him, wasn't just another rapper from the trenches. He was a force of nature, a demon in human form, and a walking nightmare for anyone who crossed him or his gang. The Bloodhounds. By the time he dropped his first track, The Bloody Family, in late 2022, Jeff was already a legend. About the music, he was about that life. And when it came to sliding on his ops, Jeff didn't play games. He was the pistol professor, and class was always in session. Jeff's story starts in the far south side of Chicago, where he was just a scrawny 12-year-old with hoop dreams. But the streets had other plans for him. By 2014, rumors were already swirling that Jeff had caught his first body, an 18-year-old named Molly Ma, affiliated with the Harry Mob. At the time, Jeff was just a guy, barely old enough to hold a gun, let alone pull the trigger. But the streets talk, and the whispers about Jeff's alleged involvement in MLY Ma's murder never stopped. Jeff's older brother, Jay Boogie, was already deep in the streets, immersed in the gang life, running with the Bloodhounds, and making a name for himself as someone not to be messed with. In a DJ Vlad interview, Jeff admitted he didn't fully jump off the porch until he was 18, but once he did, there was no turning back.
I'm saying, when I came outside for real, I was like 18 type.
Okay.
I just turned like 18.
But Jeff's childhood was far from normal. His father was absent, allegedly standing on business with the 068C block, and his mother seemed to encourage his violent tendencies. In a now viral Instagram story, Jeff's mother praised him for his reputation in the streets, saying, "Go ahead, son, your name, ringing bells in the streets." I said, "Is that my boy?" She even expressed pride in him for sliding on kids he used to share a bed with as a child. Jeff's environment shaped him into the monster he became, witnessing the murder of Kenny Mack and having his family's house shot up with a bullet whizzing past his head left a lasting impression on him.
My crib got shot up when I was like 14. I was some stupid ass. The bullet that flew like right past my face. They had shot the back and the front. Then they blew the car up and set that on fire. It was busting. I ain't gonna lie, it was going on. That almost hit me though. See what I'm saying though? Shit like that play a part.
All type just seeing that every day I was seeing it. Every day, you see what I'm saying? So the thing, I was seeing that out 10, just like I'm doing right now. I'm a part of. Jeff concluded. By the time Jeff started rapping, he was already a feared figure in the streets. Each first tracks, The Bloody Family and Can't Beat Us, were filled with gritty lyrics, cold-hearted boasts about his lifestyle. But it was his outro on Can't Beat Us that really set the tone for who Jeff was. "I'm really not a rapper," he said, repeating it twice for emphasis. "I'm really not a rapper." For Jeff, music was just a side hustle. His real talent was catching bodies. According to street rumors, Jeff was responsible for the murders of Rob, Monty, Lil Gutter from Hit Squad, Slide, Clay Boogie from 95, and Baby Katie. Whether these claims were true or not, they added to his mystique and made him a figure to be feared. One of Jeff's most infamous alleged victims was Lil Pooh, a young man from the Flipside set who was reportedly affiliated with Trap City, whose murder in April 2023 sent shockwaves through the drill scene. And Jeff didn't shy away from taking credit on a tribute post for Pooh. Jeff commented he was dissing Z-Money, referring to the fallen Bloodhounds member, whose death had sparked a brutal feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City. But Pooh wasn't the only one. In June 2023, Trap City member Lil Real, named Jalal Goss, was shot and killed while sitting in a parked rideshare car in the Little Italy neighborhood. The shooting took place in one of Chicago's safest areas, making it all the more shocking. The very next day, Jeff, JB, and Q50 dropped their remix to Lilith's Coffin with lyrics that seemed to reference Lal's MD Jeff's music was filled with these kinds of subliminal disses and outright threats. His track Stretched, he rapped about catching his ops in a fishbowl, a reference to Lil being shot in a car with untinted windows. Jeff even joked about it on Instagram Live, saying he was trying to catch a shark in a shark tank. Jeff's reputation wasn't confined to Chicago. Rumors swirled that he was carrying out contract killing in Milwaukee, with photos circulating of him hanging out with alleged local gang members. Jeff and the Bloodhounds reference these claims in their music, with lyrics suggesting they were selling hits across state lines in the song Run. but Can't Hide Jeff rapped how the bloodhounds got blood for hire, meaning that they're selling hits too. While there's little concrete evidence to back up attitude toward violence for him, killing wasn't just a necessity. It was a game. In one viral video, Jeff was shown sitting in a car joking about smoking someone who ran away after seeing his gun. Fans on Reddit were shocked by how casually Jeff treated the situation, with one commenter saying this _ was really all a game to him. But Jeff wasn't born a monster. He was the product of a violent environment and a family that encouraged his actions. His mother's praise for his violent reputation and his brother's influence in the streets shaped him into the person he became. Most of Jeff's alleged killings revolved around the feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City. What made this beef so personal was the fact that Jeff and his ops were once friends of the people he later targeted, and he didn't hesitate to rap about killing kids he used to share a bed with in the song Run. But Can't Hide Jeff rapped, "I'm beefing with guys that I used to be so close with. We used to sleep in the same bed." This line was almost word for word what his mother had said in their text exchange, where she praised him for sliding on his childhood friends. The feud between the Bloodhounds and Trap City is one of the most brutal in Chicago drill history, and Jeff was at the center of it. His music was filled with disses aimed at Trap City, and his alleged involvement in the murders of Lil and others only fueled the furlough. Jeff was the face of the Bloodhound gang. For years, the Bloodhounds and Trap City ran together under the banner that included Drill City 400 East, MTV 079, and Chris World. This alliance was supposed to be unbreakable, a united front against rival sets. These sets were locked in, no major beef, just holding it down together. Rappers like RBTC, Lil Capfer, and Muka were repping hard, dropping tracks like On Fire and showing love to the hood. Even King Von's sister KB and the Late Enchanting made cameos in the video, chilling in Trap City like it was family. But all that unity, it went up in flames in 2023. And it all started with one move that changed everything. See, the streets was cool for a minute, but then on March 16, 2023, Z Money, aka Z Nelson, Jeff's cousin, and throwing off clothes at the dry cleaner. Out of nowhere, a whip pulls up and shots ring out. Z Money tried to dip, but they caught him in a hail of bullets. Over 29 times his boy returned fire, but it was too late. Z Money W gone, and the streets lost a real one. Now here's where it gets messy. Z Money wasn't just some random. He was Jeff's right hand, like a brother. Since Boogie, Jeff's real brother, got locked up when Z Money got hit, it shook the whole Bloodhound set. Jeff and Q50 even tatted his name on their eyelids and Z's on their trigger fingers to show love. But the paw ran deeper than tots. Z Money's mama was out here heartbroken, telling the Trace how her son was dead on arrival, how she might be walking past his killers every day. That's some heavy. Word got around that Z Money's own people, his old crew from Trap City, might have set him up. Yeah, you heard that right. The same dudes he used to roll with were now the ones allegedly pulling the trigger. Some said it was over a girl. Others said it was about a stolen chain. Either way, the trust was broken, and the alliance was done. Fast forward to July 2024, and Trap City's own Rob Tarrant and OTF Black sat down with X-Man Rico on YouTube. They didn't come out and say it straight, but they hinted that the beef between Trap City and Drill City, and by extension Bloodhound, started over some petty chain snatching a chain fam. That's all it took to turn brothers into enemies.
They know what they did.
So, okay.
They know what they did.
So, okay, the Bloodhounds, yeah, y'all was cool.
Everybody got a that was my homie. He stole the chain, bro. We tried like he took it. He stole my homie chain.
In 2023, Drill City members allegedly jacked a Trap City affiliate's chain engraved with 67 stalking to outsiders. It might seem trivial, but in the streets, a chain isn't just jewelry. It's a symbol of pride, power, and respect. Trap City took the theft as a personal insult, a slap in the face from their so-called allies. The fallout was immediate. Trap City cut ties with the alliance, and the streets quickly divided. Most sets sided with Drill City, leaving Trap City isolated and furious. What followed was a cycle of violence that turned Chicago into a war zone. Bodies started dropping, and the drill music scene became a soundtrack to the bloodshed. Zahn's death hit the Bloodhounds hard, turned to rage, and he vowed to make Trap City pay. In the months that followed, Jeff became the face of the Bloodhounds, leading the charge against their former allies. In June 2023, Jeff made good on his promise. Trap City member Lil Real Nam Jalgo was sitting in an Uber in the Little Italy neighborhood when Jeff ally pulled up and opened fire. Lil didn't stand a chance. The shooting saw shockwaves through Trap City, and Jeff didn't hesitate to rub salt in the wound in his music and social media posts. Jeff taunted Trap City over Lil's death. Jeff's brazenness only added to his reputation as a fearless and ruthless killer. Just 2 months later, Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds were aided again on August 31st, 2023 around. An alleged member of Trap City named Glendale was posted at a Clark gas station on 67th and deep in Trap City's hood. Out of nowhere, someone rolls up and starts blasting. Glenn gets hit multiple times and ends up in critical condition. This was a brutal day in Chicago, with 4 people getting shot in Woodlaw alone, including a 4-year-old boy. Thankfully, Glenn survived, and the next day he was on social media, thanking everyone who checked on him. But he also sent a message to the people who wanted him dead. And let's be real, that message was aimed straight at the Bloodhounds in Drill City. The feud escalated in January 2024, when Montario Monty Drench Williams and Robert Lil Rob Boston brothers from Nitty Block were gunned down in broad daylight. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike, Monty and Lil Rob were well-known figures in their gang, and their death sent shockwave through the community. Lil Jeff didn't shy away from taking credit for the double homicide. He took to social media, posting cryptic messages and subliminal disses that hinted at his involvement. His Instagram stories were filled with taunts aimed at Trap City and Nitty Block, further solidifying his reputation as a ruthless gangster. Jeff's music also reflected his role in the killing acts like Double Trouble, as street confessions became anthems in the drill scene, with fans dissecting every lyric for clues about the murders. Jeff's music wasn't just entertainment, it was a chilling testament to the violent world he inhabited. Wasn't about to let Jeff's actions go unanswered. In a brutal act of retaliation, they targeted Lil Squirrel, one of Jeff's close friends. The message was clear: no one associated with Lil Jeff was safe. Lil Squirrel's death hit Jeff hard, despite his hardened exterior. Jeff was deeply affected by the loss of someone close to him. He took the social media to express his grief, posting an Instagram story where he claimed Lil Squirrel was innocent and not a gang member. The post was a rare glimpse into Jeff's vulnerable side, showing that even he wasn't immune to the pain and loss that came with the gang lifestyle. But it also fueled his desire for revenge. The streets of Chicago became even more dangerous as the streets his music was blowing up, and his reputation as the Pistol Professor was cemented. But fame in the drill scene comes with a price, and Jeff's enemy were closing in. On June 8, 2024, Jeff, his right-hand man Q50, and their associate Vert decided to slide on Trap City territory. Once again, they pulled up to a trap house in a stolen SUV, ready to make a statement. Jeff, ever brazen, hopped out and began chasing a Trap City member named Mammon. However, this mission would prove to be Lil Jeff's last. With his beloved Bloodhound members, rappers rejoice after Lil Jeff's death. The streets don't care about your name, your clout, or your bars. If you play with fire, you're going to get burned. And for L. Jeff, the leader of the dramatic way possible, Jeff was always more about the streets than the music. He said it himself in his RPS. But on that fateful day, the same drills he was dishing out came back to bite him. Surveillance footage leaked online shows Jeff, Q50, and another man pulling up on South Rhodes Avenue, a spot Jeff had bragged about shooting up in his songs. They hopped out the car, guns blazing, chasing a dude in bright yellow shorts, later identified as Man, ducked behind a car and ran up a porch. Jeff, doing exactly what he rapped about, chased Mammon straight to the house. But what he didn't expect was someone inside waiting with the heat. As soon as Jeff hit the porch, shots rang out from the house, dropping him before he could even make it up the steps. Jeff got pavement. Meanwhile, Q50 and the other shooter were behind Jeff, returning fire. Q50 Evie took shots at a passing car, likely earning himself an attempted murder charge in the process. But when the driver of their hit realized Jeff was gone, they dipped without him. Jeff's body was left behind as shots kept ringing out. Here's where it gets wild. Q50 and the crew somehow spun back, grabbed Jeff's body, and took him to the hospital. Yeah, they went back to the scene of the shootout, scooped Jeff up, and got him to the ER. A photo later surfaced online showing Q50 and another man carrying Jeff's lifeless body into the hospital. But the streets don't sleep. Footage of the shooting spread like wildfire. Reddit's shy subreddit, with everyone said Jeff and the Bloodhounds underestimated their ops and paid the price. And then came the mockery. Trap City members didn't waste any time clowning Jeff and Q50. They took to Instagram, reenacting the shooting, laughing at how Jeff got caught slipping.
They call Q50 slide right here, man. This is what they call him slide now, man. He's slide. He's right there.
Rappers from Trap City started dropping bars and posts mocking Jeff's death and Q50's failed attempt to save him. The streets are ruthless, and Jeff's death was a reminder that no one's untouchable. For all the bars he dropped about chasing ops and shooting up blocks, Jeff ended up on the wrong side of the same violence he glorified. Social media turned into a battlefield with diss tracks, memes, and straight disrespect flooding the timelines. Jeff's death wasn't just another body dropping, was a moment that shook the drill scene and set off a wave of chaos, mockery, and revenge threats. Right after the news broke, comments started flying. Phrases like Trap City became the go-to disc in Jeff's mentions, with fans and haters alike clowning the set. Some even declared that Trap City would soon be renamed Trap Cemetery, and vowed that the set would be in danger forever. Others went as far as saying they felt a twisted sense of joy every time shots rang out in Trap City's neighborhood. But the drama didn't stop there. Reddit detective went full Sherlock Holmes, trying to piece together who pulled the trigger. Within 2 days, fans were pointing the finger at Trap City Rob, also known as A-Trap Rob, who'd been arrested multiple times at the house where the shooter fired from the port. Quickly became the internet's prime suspect. Post naming Rob as wanted and on the run spread like wildfire. A new article confirmed that the shooter was indeed wanted by police, and by June 1st, Reddit users thought they had spotted Rob. Nuts and Rob's old rap song, What a Feeling, suddenly went viral, racking up over 10,000 new views as comment sections filled with references to Jeff's death. But here's the twist: Rob was arrested, but later released without facing any charges for Jeff's killing. The streets were divided. Some called it self-defense, while others called it overkill. Drill commentator Trench's News weighed in, saying 19 shots. That's why they grab Rob. It ain't self-defense. That's overkill. But Trench's also criticized the Chicago justice system, saying they lock up the wrong people and let the real ones walk. Meanwhile, the reason behind Jeff's fatal move to chase Man became a hot topic. According to one Reddit thread, Jeff was trying to pick of his bright yellow shorts to a group chat after someone offered to buy them for a crazy price. But Trench's News had another theory. It was all over a fake chain. According to Trench's, Jeff took a chain from someone who was later killed, played games about it being stolen, and then got jumped. When the truth came out, that fig spiraled into a full-blown war, ending with Jeff's death.
Jeff tried to tell them that the chain was stolen, but he had it all along, playing around little kid games. And then when they seen him, they whooped little Jeff, jumped on him or fought him. And then next thing you know, it spiraled into like killing.
Trench's also didn't hold back, calling Jeff out for popping up out of nowhere, claiming 8 bodies, and quoting King Von every other sentence. Meanwhile, the whole atmosphere was different for Lil Jeff's family and his bloodhound gang members, who finally got a taste of what they subjected to. Family and friends of the victims to the day after Lil Jeff's death on June 9, 2024. The streets were heavy with heartbreak and rage. Jeff's close family and friends were left staring at his pictures in disbelief, trying to process the loss of a young man who had become a legend in the drill scene. His brother Jay Boogie was said to be on the verge of losing his mind when he heard the news. Jeff's dad took to social media, posting throwback images of Jeff with his half-brothers and captioning them "The world." It was raw, unfiltered pain from a father who had lost his son to the same streets. Jeff H. once ruled Jeff's man and cousin. Q50 was quick to respond. He called Jeff his brother and twin and said he was done crying. Instead, he was focused on doing exactly what Jeff had told him to do, likely a reference to seeking revenge. Q50's words were a chilling reminder that in the streets, grief often turns into action. Meanwhile, Bert, another close ally of Jeff, opened up in a Jew interview, visibly shaking and slurring his words, possibly intoxicated.